Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we have another Steve Carell film for you. In case you guys are wondering, I am probably about halfway. I'm hoping to finish the series up for this and Leonardo DiCaprio in about late March, early April. So look out for a post on Facebook for what you want to see after that, and that post will be up relatively soon, probably in the beginning of February. But today we're going to focus on a movie that I watched this morning called The Way, Way Back. The Way, Way Back was released in 2013. It was written and directed by Nat Faxon and Jim Rash. So this movie I was actually really looking forward to, mainly because it really gave me Little Miss Sunshine vibes, which is a review I did previously in the Steve Carell series. It was actually one of the first ones I did. It was like one of the first 10 videos that I uploaded on the channel. And I gotta tell you, I loved that movie a lot. And this movie did have very similar vibes. So essentially what happens in this movie is this kid named Duncan and his mother are going on a vacation with her boyfriend, Trent. And so they go on vacation into a beach house, and of course Duncan feels left out because mainly he's this socially awkward, kind of weird kid who runs into this guy he meets called Owen, and Owen just happens to run a water park, and Duncan starts working there, and then eventually finds a friend in Owen, and finds a girlfriend, kind of, and it's really kind of interesting how that all plays out. And the relationships in this movie are really interesting. And so I think I'm just going to jump right into the acting and talk about the acting and all the relationships that I felt were good in the movie and some of the relationships that I thought weren't very good in the movie. First of all, Steve Carell as Trent. So Trent is an interesting character. So he is the boyfriend to Pam, and Pam is Duncan's mother. So Trent is seen as the asshole in the movie, you know? He's always bossing Duncan around, but he's really sweet when it comes to Pam. Which, for the audience, kind of is annoying because we can't really tell whether or not we're supposed to like him or not. Even by the end of the film, they're still together. But we can see that, Trent has maybe cheated on her before. But the audience is led to believe that he hasn't. We see this scene in this alley where he's about to kind of get playful with a girl, and then he's like, no, I can't do this. I'm dating someone right now. Which means that the audience should like him in accordance to the fact that he is technically a good person. He didn't cheat on her, but we are led to believe that he has somehow. It's complicated, and honestly it was a little confusing, and I wasn't a huge fan of that confusion. However, I liked his relationship with people. His relationship with Pam was funny because he was, he loves her, obviously. He's like, I want to be with you forever. And then he'll also do things to piss her off. Like, they're playing Candyland, and he's being a stickler on the rules, even though it doesn't matter. It's Candyland. Which, of course, pisses Pam off and includes the only F-bomb. So, in order for a movie to be PG-13, it has to have one or less F-words. So, swearing warning. She says, fucking Candyland, and then walks upstairs. And it was a great use of that word, in my opinion. So they wanted to keep it PG-13, so they were able to use that word very well, in my opinion. I think I'm always interested when I watch the PG-13 movies where they're going to put that word, because they always do somewhere. That was a good spot for it. But Trent overall as a character, I really enjoyed watching, mainly because I liked his relationship with Duncan more than anything else in the whole world. I liked watching that a lot. I did not like his relationship with Pam as much as I liked it with Duncan. He's very stepfathery to Duncan. Duncan just does not like him at all. And I think that Trent likes Duncan to a certain extent, but also you can tell he doesn't like him. It's a cool and complex relationship. Also, fun fact, Steve Carell filmed his entire part in this film in 10 days, which is unbelievable. So, props to that. Next, we have Toni Collette as Pam. Pam is an interesting character. So Pam is Duncan's mother and is dating Trent. And Pam is just always worried for her son, but doesn't really show it to Duncan as much as she should, right? Because we see in the beginning that she's very into Trent, and we see that they want to be alone together, want to be together, where it kind of pushes Duncan out, and Duncan already feels alone. And to add this into the mix just isn't very good, isn't very helpful to anybody, and honestly, it made me kind of not like Pam. I think I liked her as a character in the movie. I just don't think I like Pam as a person. But overall, the performance was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't mention my performance for Steve Carell. Steve Carell did fine in this movie. I don't think he was spectacular. I don't think he was bad. I think it was just solidly fine. Anna Sophia Robb as Susanna. So Susanna is the love interest kind of between Duncan and her. Anna Sophia Robb's great. I love her. I just didn't really particularly care for her in this movie. I think mainly because we don't really need a love interest in this movie, especially with the main character being so socially awkward. He's a very socially awkward kid, and we see Anna Sophia Robb playing Susanna, and she just kind of feels like she's more popular than him, and it doesn't feel like a good relationship. And she didn't really sell it to me that she was interested in him. And then at the very end of the movie, the directors and the writers were like, you know what, let's just have them not get together. So, like, they kiss, and then he moves, because he has to go back home after vacation. Which really wasn't a very good ending, in my opinion, but that's fine. I think that her performances, again, it was fine. It wasn't anything, like, super special, but it wasn't bad. Sam Rockwell as Owen. Easily best performance in the movie. I had so much fun watching Sam Rockwell in this movie. It's making me consider doing a Sam Rockwell series. I love him in this movie. It is fantastic. He is wonderful. 100% he's the reason why I'm giving this a good grade. The story's fine and like the acting is good, but Sam Rockwell has just elevated it to no limits. It is fantastic. Every time I was sitting here on my bed watching this movie, every time Sam Rockwell would walk into front, I'd be like, oh my gosh, what's he going to say next? He is hilarious. He is witty. He is at the top of his game in this movie. And he is fantastic. So, really good job to Sam Rockwell. Fantastic part in this movie. And I really hope I get to watch more of his movies because he's great, as he was in Galaxy Quest. Liam James as Duncan. So Duncan's the main character in the movie, but because we have so many stars like Sam Rockwell and Steve Carell, they were actually top billed. So Liam James got paid less to play Duncan, who is the main character of the film. And Duncan is socially awkward, I think, to a degree that wasn't very good for the movie, I think. I think we portrayed him a little bit too socially awkwardly, where it felt kind of uncomfortable to watch. It wasn't great. I didn't really thoroughly enjoy watching the performance, which is a problem, of course. It's not like the end of the world, sure, but it still isn't bad. He's a complex character, so it's hard to play. He's like a young child. He's like 14 in the movie, so it's hard to play socially awkward because it's such a negative action. It's so much easier to play positive actions than it is to play negative actions, which is why I think that having him be socially awkward, while I think it might have been necessary to a certain extent, I don't think it should have been to the forefront of the movie. I think showing the fact that he's in a dysfunctional family is more important than showing that he's socially awkward. It's just a slight negative, but it's not the worst thing in the movie. In my opinion, I honestly think that he might have been my least favorite character in the movie, besides Trent. I didn't really like Trent and Pam. I really enjoyed watching Duncan and his relationship to Owen, which was the best thing in the world. It was like a best friend, also father-son relationship. It's so funny. If you haven't seen this movie yet, you really should give it a shot because it is fantastic. If only for Sam Rockwell. And again, this is a part of the Steve Carell series, and Steve Carell was great. I enjoyed watching him. I just did not enjoy watching him as much as I enjoyed Sam Rockwell. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and have to give this movie an A. I gave it a really good rating mainly because of Sam Rockwell's performance, but overall the writing and the directing was it was really good. It made you feel something. It made you feel sad for the kid, and it made you feel enlightened whenever Sam Rockwell and Liam James's characters were together. Overall, solid movie, definitely a good watch. I watched the whole thing straight through. A really good waste of 2 hours. I really enjoyed it and had a good time. Thank you all for watching the video. If you're just watching this video, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out a lot. If you're watching the whole Steve Carell series, up next we have Anchorman 2. What is it? The Legend Continues, I think it's called. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not particularly looking forward to it, mainly because I didn't like the first one. But I've heard good things about the second one as well, so I'm going in with a positive attitude, thinking that maybe it's better than the first one, but I'm not entirely sure. It is another comedy film, unfortunately, and we do have Alexander and the Horrible, Terrible, whatever coming up the week after that, which is another comedy. I can't wait to get to some of the gritty Steve Carell performances, which will be happening in February, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. That's going to do it for me today. As always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.